Here's how to work a crochet spike stitch. Now a spike stitch can be worked either when working in the round or when working back and forth in rows, but they're typically made on the front of the work. And in this example, I'm going to create a spike stitch that is 2 rows deeper than my normal stitches, but this could vary, and I'll show you how you can adapt the spike stitch depending on your pattern or how deep you want to make it. Now again, typically a spike stitch would be worked in a contrasting colour so that it contrasts with the stitches below, but this doesn't have to be the case. You might be working on a pattern where the spike stitch is used as a more textural stitch. Either way, it's worth knowing that a spike stitch is essentially a modification on a double crochet, and I'm using UK double crochet there, which is US single. So we're working a double crochet stitch, it's just the placement of the stitch that is changing. In this example now, I'm going to create a spike stitch which is 2 rows below where my normal stitch would be sitting. So rather than working into the top of the stitch, I'm going to insert my hook 2 rows below, yarn over as I normally would with a double crochet, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both stitches. So as you can see in its makeup, it is the same as a UK double crochet, it's just where we're placing it that's different. We will then skip the stitch that sits directly behind it, because instead of working into that, we've worked a few rows below. If you're working your spike stitch in rows, it's going to look very similar. You just need to remember to make sure you're placing your spike stitch on the front of the work so that it is most visible there. And the only other difference that you might notice is that when we're working in rows, we don't have quite the same staggered stitches as we do when working in the round. So if your spike stitch calls to be worked 2 rows below or 3 rows below, it may end up looking a little bit straighter than if you're working in the round, which is essentially exactly the same process. The key is to make sure that you're pulling your loop up so that it's sitting right on top of your work and therefore not distorting the fabric in any way. So there's how to work a spike stitch in the round and a spike stitch in rows. And here's how this one is looking.